Hello my loves, welcome back to the How to Make a Journal series. This is part 4,042,000,042, so thanks for sticking with. It feels like part 4,042,000,042. On this part though, I'm going to talk about sewing in your journal signatures. Now for those of you that are new to journaling, each chapter or group of pages etc is called a signature, and I usually just make journals with 2 signatures in. I just find it a nice amount for me to work with, and it takes me long enough to bloom and do those anyway. So yeah, so mine's going to be a 2 signature journal. I'm going to go through what you need. So when I very first started making journals 2-3 years ago now, I literally just bought from Amazon some wax thread, black and white, and they both came with a massive needle, which just proved invaluable. And I think this is probably the original one I had last from a few years ago. And you'll need your very, very sharp pokey stick. It is incredibly sharp, so please be careful if you've got children or animals around. So the very first thing I do is gather up your pages that you're going to do in. Now I don't know if it makes a difference if you're right-handed or left-handed, but I'm right-handed, so I find it easier to start with the right-hand side, then go to the left-hand side. So this is going to be the second signature, and I literally do everything by eye. Now you can see here that I've already put the holes in of where I'm going to be sewing, and I'll show you how I did that, because obviously you don't want to mark on pages that you're going to see. So I get the inside piece that I'm going to use, and then literally fold it over, and then I just hold it next to the holes, and then I mark where I want to make my holes. Now the only tricky bit with that is I then have to be careful that I've lined this up centrally, because it's not the same size as all the other papers. So we have to just jiggle and tap, make sure everything's in line. I'm just going to have a look at this off camera, otherwise we'll have dodgy eyes. So I can see, you can't see that on the camera, that is now more or less central. So all my holes should be lined up, and then all you do is you just make your holes. Take the protective cover off by jabbering with your sticky stick. Go nice and slowly, because it's so sharp. You do not want any accidents. All right, and then you can see it's quite tricky for me to show you because I've already done it, but they'll come through. Oh, come on, I'm all fingers and thumbs today. I don't know what's the matter with me. There we go. You can see it comes through there. All right, so then when that's done, you're ready to sew in. Now it's up to you how much thread to use. You need to use at least 3 lengths. Personally, I like to use just that little bit more, because I would like to have too much thread than not enough. So I tend to do 3-4 lengths and a bit. Right, let me chop that off. And then the great thing about these big needles that you get with thread is that they're so easy to thread. Now I don't know if I mentioned, because menopausal and all that, the thread that I buy, I always buy wax thread. It's easy to maneuver, it's got a nice smooth feel and a nice smooth finish to it, so I always buy wax thread. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by going in the middle. Now you're going to have to excuse me because I'm really all fingers and thumbs today. Okay, so we're going to line that up with the middle hole, and then what we want to do is, while we're working, we don't want to lose the end. So all I do is I just bulldog clip that to the top of the papers, and then that keeps that in a nice secure place, because you're going to need to keep the end to tie off when you're finished. Okay, so we're going to go through the middle. Don't forget, we've got 3 holes. So this is how I do it. I go through the middle, pull it, Now you do need to keep an eye on it because it will get caught on your papers. So I'm going to go through the middle, then I go in the top, like so. Now this always is a bit tricky to start with until you get your flow going. In an ideal world you'd push a needle in it to go through everything, but it doesn't do that for the first few times. There we go. Okay, so that's coming through, and then just pop it through that one, like so. So that's now gone in the top bit. You can see that's really loose, so we need to make sure everything's tightened up as we go, okay? So if we pull that, that will tighten that. And then we're going straight down to the bottom, like so. Again, just wiggly it about a bit and straight out the bottom hole, like that. So you'll have a straight line like that on the inside, and then on the outside, and just make sure you keep pulling it nice and tight because you want this to twang a bit. You can see I've got a thread there, but I've not got a thread there, so we're going to go into the middle, like so. So in the middle, try not to cut your other thread in half because that can damage it. Okay, just making sure it's all going through everything there. Lovely. Okay, and pull it tight, really tight as you can. And you can see that one's still loose, that one's nice and tight. So all we're going to do is just pull everything. There we go. And then pull everything. They're nice and tight. So we are now back in the middle. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back out the bottom. That went straight out that time. The more you do it, the more you loosen the paper up, the easier it does become. So this keeps coming a bit loose and I don't know why. So we're just going to keep pulling that to make sure it's nice and tight. We're going to go back in the middle. Lovely. And then I'm going to go out the top. And again, that's gone straight out the hole. I'm going to pull it, pull it, pull it. Oh, you do have to be careful because your thread will catch on things there. Okay, there we go. So now you can see I've got two threads there, but only one thread there. And this one's become loose again. So I'm going to keep tightening. If I can just get that bit there. Or is it that one there? That one there. Then we'll just tighten them up. And then they're nice and tight there. So then we're going to go in the middle, like so. And you can see there that they are now, get rid of that. They're now both nice and tight. So we've gone through each one twice, okay? And then all you do, pull really tight and tie it off. I tend to do maybe 3 knots. Like that. Now, yes, look, I've got loads of excess, but I would rather that than not. And then what I do, I'm not going to do it now because time's running out as usual, is I glue that down so I know that's nice and secure. And then what will happen is I will glue the edges there, then that becomes a pocket and it's hidden the thread. So yeah, so that is how you do your sewing. I'm not going to film the other one, but if you've got any questions, just ask, as always. All right, my loves, thanks for watching yet another long video. I'm so sorry they're taking so long, but I do hope you're finding them useful. Whew, now I need to lie down.